Hello, Happy New Year, welcome back. I'm tempted to say, sorry I can't be with you, but I'm sure people are happy about that. This is a video presentation that's designed to give you some ideas about tools that you could use to do, as it suggests on the screen here, three things. Actually, it's more than three things. But they're all related to the theme of today. Not only the embedding of key skills, but also other things that we need to develop in response to previous Ofsted and things identified in quality observations and so on. And simply good teaching and learning. And those things are things like stretch and challenge and so on. So the purpose of this presentation is for you to kick back, maybe take a few notes if you want, but know that it is available to you here, tiny.cc/ehwlc tech. So you can always access this presentation and all the links contained within it in your own time. Go through it at your own pace, and there will be additional resources in here as well so that it can become a self-study resource. This is a sort of introduction to the whole thing. So just to start things off, I wanted to think about some buzzwords. Buzzwords can sometimes have a sort of negative connotation, but these are really core phrases, I think, that we need to be thinking about. And it's not just me that thinks this. So let's just have a look at these in turn. And the resources that I'm going to show you are all about things like enabling creativity, giving you opportunities to stretch and challenge, about providing ways to embed key skills, to be more inclusive, but at the same time be more innovative and exciting, to enable differentiation by task, by outcome, by preference, by grouping, by all sorts of things. And in addition to that, to show that you can use technology effectively to underpin the pedagogy. It enables greater flexibility, it enables personalization. And I think what's really important about these three tools that we've chosen here is that they give the teacher the opportunity to do all of these things in varying degrees of emphasis according to how they're used, within their own subject specialism and according to their own subject specialism, but also without having to go too far in terms of developing those skills. So coming back to the presentation, there are those key words again. So how can we do that in a way that's going to be virtually pain-free, make our lives better and easier, make the students' lives better, more exciting and easier, and do those things that we're trying to achieve, particularly those emphasis things like stretch and challenge, like embedding of key skills, and like the effective use of technology. So the three tools that we've chosen are Linoit, which is a post-it kind of interface, post-it note interface. There's Quizlet as well, which is more than just a quiz making tool, but it is really effective and quite exciting if you haven't seen it before. And BlendSpace, which is actually designed specifically for lesson planning, but is a brilliant way of pulling together web-based and your own stuff into one space for a session or a topic or a series of sessions that you're delivering. So let's have a look at those. I'm not presenting this in full screen mode, not because I'm an idiot, but because the screencasting software that I'm using doesn't like it very much. So you'll have to forgive all the extra peripheral stuff around here. So Linoit, it's a post-it tool. I think that its real strengths are that you can share resources in a nice, easy to navigate window. You can use it to engage the students, of course, but also to provide extension activities that genuinely stretch, or to collaborate where the students themselves can contribute to the same board. I've seen it used really effectively for lesson planning. There's an example here. This is a session that I'm running with the PGCE group. And you can see all I've got are some post-it notes of different colours, and within them I've got tasks, questions, links to further resources, and it just structures the activity. It's a really formative activity, in this case, built around a piece of academic reading. And I want to focus them, rather than just giving them the reading, focus them on specific elements. And each bit takes them to a different part of that academic reading, with some questions and some group activities and so on. And that's really it. It's got a short link there, but that isn't too difficult to share via Moodle or a blog or another host page, or even by hand. But I like to make it as easy as possible for the students, so I shorten it further. So how do you make one of these? Well, let me show you. If you've got a Google account, and of course we all have got Google accounts, you can sign up to Linoit with that. And that means you don't have to remember usernames and passwords. And when you come into it, you're presented with an interface that looks like this. Ignore the free stuff that's already been provided and just go straight to create new canvas is my suggestion. And lacking as I do any real inspiration at the moment, I'm just going to call this January 2015. I can choose a background, I can upload an image, I can just go for something plain or pastel, which I think is a good idea. So I'm going to use that one, the grey background. And see here, the access, that's absolutely key. At the moment, by default, it's set to my own private use, but I'm going to show everyone the stickies. If I want my students to be able to collaborate on that link, I'll click on that. But I'm just going to go back here. On one other thing, I've just remembered, it's best not to put spaces in the title. So there you go. That's all ready to roll. I'm going to create my canvas, and now all I need to do is just drag my post-it notes in and add content. So that's content 1, and I post it. If I want to edit that, I can by clicking on the pencil, and there's post-it 2. If I go into the icon section here, I can type some content here and post that, and it puts the icon there for you. I can upload documents, so I can choose a file there. I can just cancel that. I can insert images, I can insert video, and I can even, I can even have see-through post-its if I want a title or something like that. So that's quite a nice thing to be able to do. Only I can drag these around. So if you wanted to make a drag and drop type activity, you could, but it would have to be logged into yours if you're projecting it up onto a screen. So that's what Linoit can do. Looks really nice. It's quite effective. It's good if you're sharing links to further activities, or if you want to pull all the resources for a session together, or as I say, to get students collaborating. So that's the first one there. Let's move on to the next one. There will be in the final version of this presentation that you can access, as I indicated at the beginning, through this URL, tiny.cc/EHWLC Tech. There will be a video going into more detail, taking more time on how to use the Linoit. But let's turn to the next one, Quizlet. You may have heard of this. It's been around for some time. It's advertised as a flashcard creator, but it really is much, much more than that. And it's fantastically impressive. I think it's excellent for differentiation, both stretch and challenge, and for supporting students who may be struggling with a particular topic. Great for revision. It's really good for embedding literacy as well. Supports students who are having difficulty with core vocab and jargon and so on. And the other thing to remember about this is it's got a really nice app for Android and iPhones, and works really, really well. So let's have a look at an example here. This is one not created by me, but created by another teacher. And that's the first thing to remember, is you can search other teachers' content. And you can see what we've got here are some tools or items relevant to plumbing, and then definitions. And that's what this teacher has created. And as you can see, as a presentation tool, I've got the term,
pipe wrench,
which it will read out to me, and then I can flip it over and show it. If I want to use it as a presentation tool, I'm going to show one side first. It doesn't have to be an image. In fact, on the free account, you can only use stock images, but you can do so much anyway with the free account. It's fantastic. And it can be a definition. So I've switched that over so it's only showing the image. There you go. I can ask the students, right, what is that? Come on, tell me.
pipe tap,
It's a pipe tap, well done, and so on. What's the next one?
90-degree galvanized elbow.
As you all no doubt knew. So that's partly what it can do. But if I go back to the home page and search for something else, something completely different, let's say, my brain's gone, biology. Let's see what comes up under that. All of these things are related to biology. I can hover over them. Well, that looks quite interesting. And then check that they all make sense, that they're all accurate. Perhaps I could copy that and change the spellings if some of them are Americanized spellings, or if there are errors or mistakes. Or if I like it, I can just use it as a flashcard resource. That will read out to me. If I click on it, I can reverse it so that it's the term
Metabolism.
first, and then flick it over. And that's not all it does. And that's what's really, really great about this, is not only has it got that, it's got an opportunity for students to learn the terms, and even better, to learn the spelling of the terms. So let's have a look at this.
Hypothesis.
I'm going to have to listen to that again.
Hypothesis.
So I heard hypothesis. If I get it right and hit enter, it goes green.
Asexual reproduction.
It goes green. If I get it wrong, asexual repro. Slightly wrong.
ASEXUAL space REPRODUCTION. Asexual reproduction.
And now I have to type it again to get it right. It also has an automatically generated self-marking quiz, and I can define the parameters of that. If I just want a multiple choice quiz based on these terms, I change the settings here, create a new test, and voila, I've got a multiple choice quiz. And even if I haven't got access to computers in the room that I'm working in, I can go to print test, and it will give me a beautiful looking printable version of it. So I think that is a really nice opportunity there to be able to do something quite exciting. I've got two games. I've got a drag and drop game where you can match the terms with the definitions or the terms with the images, and see this clock here. What this does is it drives students to use it ipsatively, testing themselves against themselves, trying to beat their time or trying to beat their colleagues. And it has quite an impact. The final one there is one where the definitions come past and you have to type the term there. So all sorts of different activities built around one set of cards. It really is quite a remarkable tool. If you click share as well, you get a simple link, shorter than the one up there, that can be written on a board, put onto a lesson plan, put into Moodle, put onto a Google Doc, any way that you want to share that with the students and encourage them to do it for homework. And I just think it's absolutely fantastic. Also, if I export that set, I can use those terms elsewhere. So there's a lot of teachers have done a lot of work already that we can adapt or simply use as they are and get quite a lot from. Even if it's not something we use in class, we can use it external to the class. So that's Quizlet there. I hope if you haven't seen that before, you will have a crack at that this afternoon. And likewise, there'll be a more detailed and slower, more pedestrian how-to video in here when you access this presentation. So finally, the last one then, blend space. a little bit of a contrast here because of the way that it is a real multimedia tool. It's designed specifically for lesson plan, and it's advertised as a sort of curation tool. It brings stuff together. And what I really like about it is not only is it an easy way of getting YouTube videos in one place and images as well, but it's also absolutely brilliant for uploading documents that might otherwise not be available to your students unless, say, you put them on Moodle. BlendSpace works beautifully with Moodle because you can take it and plonk it into either a page or a label in Moodle. And so it sits really, really nicely in that as well. But if I just show you an example here, this is a BlendSpace that I made about technology that can be used to support bilingual learners. And as you can see in the tiles, as they're called, I've got an image, a PowerPoint presentation, a Word document, and then 3 images, and then 3 links and more images. And if I wanted, I could insert video, texts, little quizzes, all sorts of stuff into that as well. I think it looks quite nice. I think it looks quite professional. The PowerPoint element of it, as you will see here, runs within the presentation itself, or the online live presentation itself. So, you know, it's absolutely fantastic. And if your students are invited to this, they can also add comments, they can like it, they can involve and get really engaged interactively. So if you haven't seen it before, you won't know quite how simple it is to make something like this. If I just go to the home page and create a new lesson, by the way, as with Quizlet, as with Linoit, all you need is a Google account to be logged on, and you can sign up with your Google account. It's absolutely fantastic. So let's think of something a little bit more creative now. Let's say architecture. I'm doing a session on some sort of architecture, and I'm just going to do a broad search because this is an introductory session on architecture. So I've given it a title, I've typed my term in there, and see these things down here. Those are the things that you can include, the resources that you can include. So there you go. I'm going to do a search, and what it brings up are YouTube videos around the subject of architecture. Now, what I can do is I can preview those videos. I'm not going to now. Preview those videos, use my subject expertise, use my experience and knowledge as a teacher to identify very good videos. And when I've done that, I just drag them in to the slides here. It's absolutely brilliant. If I want some images, I click on the next tab and I can bring some images in as well. If I run out of space, I can add new rows and go to the web, do a Google web search and click those things in there. If I've got a specific website that I particularly like or want to put in, let's say that I want the Royal Institute of British Architects in there. I'm going to copy that URL. I'm going to go back to my BlendSpace that I'm authoring, wherever it is. Did I do it in this slide? Oh no, here it is. And then see this globe thing here. It reminds me of the World in Action thing, if you're old enough to remember that. I'm going to paste that in, and it brings up that specific URL there. I can upload files from my hard drive. I can use Dropbox. I can use, of course, my Google Drive. So I'll access my Google Drive, enable me to bring in any documents from there, and then they will be online and available to the students. Okay, so a whole bunch of things that you can do. How do your students get that? It's all in the share button. There you go. I just copy that link, and then I can send that to students, provide it, write it up, post it on Twitter, put it in Edmodo as it suggests there, stick it into Moodle, put it on a blog, all sorts of fantastic things. Or I can even email it to them directly. There's so many different ways of accessing it, but that's where it is. When I play this presentation, it looks like this. So I've got a playable video, there's another video, there's another one, a nice image that I can talk about, another one, it's not real, is it? And another one. That's my house, by the way. So 3 resources that do lots and lots of things. We've got Linowit, that is a brilliant collaboration tool. Absolutely fantastic, and a really good way of organizing your materials if they're online for a session or even for extending for homework and so on. Quizlet, a really excellent reinforcement tool, particularly focusing on key terminology, but does so much more than that, and is great for embedding literacy. And BlendSpace, which I think is a fantastic flip learning tool, excellent for assessment, really fantastic for stretch and genuinely challenging your students with additional resources within that same broader resource. So I hope you've seen something here that has inspired you. I hope you can identify something that you could use, that you are going to use, and something that you want to play with this afternoon. If you have seen all of these before, then fantastic. Support your colleagues, show them what you've done, or maybe take it to the next level, because I don't think anyone can ever become a real expert in these, because they've got so much potential that you can really fly with them. So if you've seen it, tried it, maybe didn't like it that much, give it another go, because I think that if you use these 3 tools for teaching and learning on a regular basis, you really are genuinely ticking that technology box, particularly if you're organizing it and integrating it with the other existing systems that we've got. Notably, of course, Google Drive, which works excellently with all of these. And if you're a big Moodle user, recognizing that you can embed content from all of these. Each of these will have an embed code that will enable you to put it nicely into a Moodle page. So for example, in Linowit, I click on the I, and there you go. I've got an embed code. If I've lost you at that stage because you don't know what that is, it doesn't matter. You don't need it. The secret to all of these is creating a resource and then getting the link. That's the secret. And all of them you can sign up for with a Google account. All of them are pretty straightforward, nowhere near as tough to learn as, say, Microsoft Word or PowerPoint. I mean, they're really, really straightforward in comparison to things that we all know how to use and we've all mastered at some point. So give it a go, work together, support each other, and then share back those resources. Let's build up a massive pool of tech-based, cloud-based resources for our students across the whole college. Okay, thank you very much indeed.